Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. It is, of course, a brand new week, and that means we got some new updates coming to Warzone and Vanguard, and in theory, this should be the final update that we see before the mid-season update or the reloaded update for Season 2, which obviously is going to bring us a ton of new content and a ton of new changes as well. But before we get to that point, we do got some new changes coming up this week, and today we got a slight preview as to what to expect for that. As we break it all down, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it, would be seriously appreciated. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in Call of Duty, news, updates, loadouts, tips, you'll find it all right here. So feel free to subscribe with those notifications turned on. So first and foremost, as always with any new week, we of course are going to be seeing a brand new playlist update. And again, this should be the final playlist update before Season 2 Reloaded. All things currently are pointing to next week being the Reloaded update around the 21st or 22nd, seeing as the Trello board has some XP bonuses listed for next week, I think around the 25th. And also all of our playlist previews stop after this week. This is the final week that they have on the initial graphic here, but starting on March 17th, this Thursday, for Caldera, we're going to see Vanguard Royale solos, duos, trios, and quads. So all squad size options for Vanguard Royale. Obviously, we've got the different adjustments with the rules here a little bit. The loadouts come in a tad bit earlier. You can't buy the loadouts, though, until that first free one comes in. And the health is different here as well. We're on that 300 health here, which honestly makes a huge impact on gameplay. I've been loving that. I'm hoping that maybe with Season 2 Reloaded, we do see some changes with that 300 health, maybe moving over to standard battle royale or maybe a different LTM. It could even be rebirth for all we know. But yeah, definitely enjoying that. For standard battle royale though, we just have quads, which I know players are not going to be super excited about. Obviously, as we saw throughout the past 5 weeks, it's rotated every single week, having the full playlist set for Vanguard Royale or Battle Royale. And this week, obviously, Vanguard Royale is the winner. We also have standard plunder quads, though, so you can use any of your Cold War, Modern Warfare, or Vanguard guns there. Then we also have Resurgence quads as well on Caldera, so you can jump in. It's obviously that cut down portion of the map that's much smaller. The whole, respawn element is in play there. Honestly, pretty fun. So that rounds out the Caldera stuff. And then for Rebirth Island, this week we just have Resurgence duos, trios, and quads. Iron Trials is done for now. I'm sure we'll probably see it return at some point in the future, but last week was the final week of that. And Resurgence is all we got going on there. This is also something important to note. This week is the final week on Rebirth Island as it stands, if in fact the mid-season update is next week. We know that we've talked about this in the past as well, that with the mid-season update and with the Reloaded update, we are going to see some quote-unquote substantial changes to Rebirth as the devs have described it. This will be the single largest update to Rebirth that we've ever seen in Warzone history. We know there's going to be some map changes. There could very well be some other significant updates to the map as well, outside of just new things being added in, maybe buildings being remodeled to a certain extent. I'm very, very excited to see what exactly is going to change here. I'm really, really hoping it's, all positive changes and well-received changes. As we know, Rebirth's popularity has spiked immensely over the course of the last year or so. This is arguably carrying Warzone in a lot of ways, and players are very picky as to whether or not they, enjoy Rebirth as it stands now versus if it were to change. So I'm, like I said, very curious to see what all ends up changing there. Now, alongside it being the supposed final week of Rebirth as we know it, with the mid-season update, we should be seeing plenty of other changes go live as well. Different gameplay changes, new content. We've got a new SMG coming. We did actually break down everything we already know about the mid-season update in a video earlier on last week, so feel free to go and check that out if you want more details on that. But being that this should be the final week of the, first half of the season, you could say, we should probably start to see some teasers later on into the week. Usually we get like a couple of profile picture changes over on Twitter. Maybe they're teasing one of the new maps, maybe a new gameplay mechanic. Sometimes they put out a small little mini trailer for it. In certain cases, it's always kind of random. But we also should be getting some larger information on the update and a full breakdown. I would expect that maybe at the very end of this week or at the start of next week, just before the update goes live, featuring a full blog post and breakdown of the new changes coming, featuring the whole Reloaded roadmap. And of course, once that stuff does release, we'll be covering it here on the channel, so stick it here for that. Then, as far as any other potential updates this week outside of just the playlist rotations, it's always hard to tell because they do really drop patch note updates at random. For what it's worth, we've pretty much seen at least one set of patch notes drop every week since the start of the season, with a few exceptions right towards the very start. But we could very well see some changes go live this week If we're looking to the Trello board for those, we don't really have anything new to go off of. They've updated this a bit by removing some of the things that were previously fixed, but we still have issues with the Vargo 52 blueprint, pings not working around the redeploy balloons, then obviously the fighter planes and the bomber planes not being active in Vanguard Royale at the moment. No telling if those will be fixed this week, but as of right now, the Trello board just isn't really providing us with a ton of information. As I mentioned earlier, though, we do also have a better indication that next week should be that mid-season update, considering from the 25th to the 28th, we are going to have that triple threat event of double XP, double weapon XP, and double battle pass tier progression, which we usually always see just after either a seasonal or a mid-season update goes live. Now, jumping over to some of the Vanguard stuff, unfortunately, we don't really ever get playlist previews and update previews like that like we do for Warzone. However, we do have some changes from last week, also some delays to some of the changes that were supposed to go live last week, and we've got the Vanguard Trello as well. There are a couple of new things here, including party matchmaking that results in players just disbanding constantly. The party system in Vanguard is pretty broken. Death counts missing from the scoreboard in objective modes. They are intending on bringing that back. There's a bug that results in the play of the game intro playing for longer than it should. Then also, after you use a glide bomb sometimes, the UI and the HUD for it stay on your screen, so you're running around looking like you're looking through a glide bomb, which is a slight issue in and of itself, right? So a couple of new things there. Like I mentioned though, last week on the 10th, they actually put live a new update that ended up changing a couple of things. If you look at their official patch notes, in S&D, they addressed an issue that would reveal the enemy team's bomb location. Then there were a few bug fixes, including incorrect XP requirement values being displayed in the career progression menu, then also incorrect prestige and XP values being displayed as well. Then for the after action report, they made a couple of updates. This patch initially, though, included some much more impactful changes in the form of some major tuning to snipers. On the Type 99, they decreased the ADS time by about 100 milliseconds, and they decreased the weapon sway while walking by 80%. On the 3 line, they decreased the weapon sway while walking, the flinch intensity, and the max damage range by a very significant amount. On the car, they decreased the ADS time by about, again, 100 milliseconds. Then for all snipers and marksman rifles, they decreased the flinch intensity as well. And then on the short barrel for the Type 99, they decreased the ADS time multiplier. However, all of these changes to the snipers, which are pretty drastic, there's some big buffs here for sure, they are delayed until the mid-season update Sledgehammer announced. So unfortunately, those did not go live with this update. We can expect them in a few days' time. So, I mean, overall, the coming days really are not anything too crazy when it comes to the updates. That's pretty normal for the final week before a major update, right? You know, towards the end of the seasons, just before a new season drops, those weeks are usually pretty lackluster. The weeks just before the mid-season update usually don't have too much going on. Nothing new here, but we do have some changes coming this week. Like I said earlier, we may see some surprise patch notes go live. If that's the case and they do surface, of course, we're going to be covering them here on the channel, so stick it here for that and everything else going on in the world of Call of Duty. News, updates, loadouts, tips, you'll find it all right here. Make sure you're subscribed with those noties turned on. That way you can always stay up to date. And if you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. It really does help the channel grow. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WHosImmortal for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, Gamer Advantage, and Control Freak products. And the links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.